Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the ABC podcast. My name is Alex, and I'm joined by Marlon Brando Park.
You're so funny.
I know.
So, I don't know if you guys can hear it,
You
but
probably can.
Alex's voice is almost as deep as mine. And that's because he's sick, and I have to share a microphone with him.
Okay, well, you could buy your own microphone, then we wouldn't have to sit so close to
Oh,
each other.
yeah, I could do that with my imaginary money. Let me just go to the bank account.
Anyway, so yeah, I got sick this week. If you could probably hear it when I recorded it with Michael, it was a little noticeable.
A little bit.
And then it just kind of went downhill from there. I was basically in bed all the rest of the day on Sunday. Got a little bit better on Monday, and I dragged myself to work on Tuesday, but then I stayed home on Wednesday, which was kind of a good thing because it gave me time to watch a movie, play some games, obviously, get better. But yes, I've still been coughing a lot, so if I start coughing up a lung and I can't edit it out or whatever, I apologize in advance.
Solo it back in. Like,
anywho, enough about that. I guess we can get started with the good stuff for the show. So, last week's episode was really long, and as much as I love recording really long episodes, it's kind of a bad thing because it means we have a ton of old stuff to go over, and it's also a pain to edit. But yeah, so we've got a ton of old stuff to go over.
let's get started.
Okay. So first thing, last week we were talking about Leslie and Ben and how for their first anniversary she got him the Iron Throne.
Yeah. And
I said that she rented it for him. That's actually not correct. She had someone in town make a replica of the Iron Throne for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they made the Iron Throne.
Apparently. I don't know where they kept it because it never comes back. But yeah, apparently she had it made, which I can only imagine cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Would you want Robin to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want her to if it would cost her every dollar that she owns and then some. But, if
It's
one
the
day,
iron price.
if one day in the future we had a little bit of extra money saved up, then yeah, I would definitely
Just forget about your kids' fortune.
Yeah.
Just make the Iron Throne. They can inherit that.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. It's a family heirloom.
Okay, next thing. So last week Brandon said that the character in Assassin's Creed 4 is not Desmond, which is sort of correct. So basically what happens is, as far as I could tell from reading Wikipedia, Desmond dies in Assassin's Creed 3.
Yes.
And from then on, the person in the Animus is an unnamed person for the corporation or whatever. But in Assassin's Creed 4, they have his leftover DNA, and so they're still using his memories based off of his bloodline.
Yeah.
The rest of the games, it's different assassins'
Yeah. So
bloodlines.
that's why, in Assassin's Creed 4, it's the father of. It's the main character, the ancestor in Assassin's Creed 3. That's his grandfather in Assassin's Creed 4.
Oh, so they actually go back in time?
Yeah. So they go even further in time.
Interesting, because I thought that all of the as the Assassin's Creed games came out, they continually progressed further in history. They didn't go back.
I can see it looked like that, but yeah, in Assassin's Creed 4, they go back a couple of years.
Interesting. Okay, so next thing, we were talking about this game on CartoonNetwork.com, a Ben 10 game, and the name of the game is Ben 10 Battle Ready.
Is it still on there? How did you find out? Did you just type it into Google?
No, I went on CartoonNetwork.com and it's still on there.
Really?
I didn't get a chance to play the game because I had a ton of other stuff that I had to look up. But yeah, it's definitely there if you want to go back and play it, which I want to.
Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do after this.
Next thing, so we were talking about Mel Gibson being in... as playing Odin, potentially. And then Brandon said he didn't remember the last movie Mel Gibson had been in. So I went on IMDb, a very helpful resource. Mel Gibson was in a movie called Son of the Father, which either came out in 2016 or was coming out later this year. The movie that he was in before that was The Expendables 3, which came out in 2014.
He was in that?
apparently.
I've never actually seen any of the Expendables.
I saw the first one, and it was okay. I haven't seen the other two.
Yeah. I think Andy in Parks and Rec, he mentions like Expendable 3. He's like, it's just not a good movie.
Yeah.
He tries to defend it, but it's not a good movie. But it's good to know Mel Gibson, he still acts.
Yep, he sure does. I'm surprised they didn't bring him in for Mad Max, the new one.
See, I also didn't even know he was like associated with that.
So, fun story. Mad Max, the original Mad Max, is my least favorite movie that I've ever seen.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's so bad. The acting, the writing, the camera, the effect, everything about it.
It's like one of those bad movies that it's not so bad that it's good. It's so bad. It's just bad.
But I don't understand, because people think of it as a classic. Like, everyone loves that movie, and okay, not everyone loves that movie, but I've never heard and met anyone who didn't
have anything bad to say about it.
Yeah, who feels the same way as I do. But I don't understand. Like, I forced myself to watch that movie. I was like, maybe it'll get better at the end. Like, but no.
Maybe it's a nostalgia thing.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so when the new Mad Max came out, Fury Road. When Fury Road came out.
With Bane?
Yeah. I was like, all the trailers and everything, they looked good, but I was like, on principle, I hate Mad Max franchise so much, I will not see this. And then it won, like, how many Oscars did it win? Like 5 or 6 or something?
Oh, man, it did great.
Yeah. I'm very glad it didn't take Best Picture, though. I would have been very upset. So anyway, that's my Mad Max rant. I'm not saying don't watch it if you're interested in it. You know, that's totally your prerogative. If you disagree with me, you're free to let me know why. But that's the way I feel about Mad Max. Okay, next thing. So now this is from my discussion with Michael. Mm-hmm. So last week.
Oh yeah, you guys really went into it.
Yeah,
that whole segment.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I liked it. It was interesting what you guys say. I didn't agree with all of it, but you guys made up some pretty good points.
Yeah. So have you read DC Rebirth or like read about it?
I looked into it a little bit. I haven't really gotten into it because my coworker at work, he's been like trying to get me into a bunch of other comics, not non-superhero related.
Okay.
So I've been trying to follow those two, and it's just so I know maybe about a good 45% of DC Rebirth.
Okay.
So yeah. Continue.
Yeah, I went to the comic book store yesterday. I picked up Rebirth, and then I also got Batman Rebirth and Green Lantern Rebirth. Haven't had a chance to read them yet, but I'm interested to see how it goes. I probably, the main Rebirth line, I probably won't continue picking up just because there's going to be, like, tons of issues, and I don't want to spend all that money, but
that's why we have the internet.
Yeah, I feel like I would want to have like the original one, you know. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so back to Michael. So last week he said that Hydra were Nazis, which is incorrect. The original Captain America movie goes into quite a bit of detail about how Hydra and Nazis are very different. How the Red Skull basically says the Nazis aren't going far enough in their methods, and they need to that Hydra is better than the Nazis.
I don't know. Maybe like I guess you kind of see why Michael said it. I mean, it's like a branch, or like they're associated with them.
Yeah, associated, but they're not the one and the same.
Yeah, you can make the argument. Okay, sure.
Okay. Anyway. So next, so we were talking. This was so confusing. So we were talking about Wally West in the New 52.
Yeah.
So New 52.
Actually, before you do it, one thing I was very surprised about Rebirth is because the New 52 hasn't been around for that long. It came out when I was like in high school, and that was like I guess, would you call it a reboot to the DC universe?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that was a reboot to the DC universe, and it's been around for a couple of years. And then Rebirth comes along, I'm like, wow, DC has to get rebooted again.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know what to think of it, so sorry, I just had to put that out there. Anyways, Wally West.
Right, okay, so after the events of the Flashpoint Paradox, Wally West basically goes out of existence. because I guess, well, I don't know why. Basically, Wally West no longer exists. But then a new Wally West comes along, and there's Wally 1. Wally 1 is pre-New 52. Wally 2, who's in the New 52, he was the cousin of the original Wally West and the son of Daniel West, who actually, as it turns out, was the Reverse Flash in the New 52. Side note, New 52 Reverse Flash looks awesome. I have the pop vinyl of him. He looks pretty rad. You know what he looks like?
I think so. Let me look at him real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the listener, if you're too lazy to look it up, he's black and red and...
Oh, yeah. He's, like, really scary looking.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I would say regular Reverse Flash, the yellow one, he's pretty scary looking. The Zoom's pretty scary looking.
That's true. I love Zoom's design. In, like, the Flash, the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember him. He's basically, like, Flash Darth Maul style.
Yeah, so anyway, so Wally West 2, son of Daniel West, and both are named after their great-grandfather. Both Wally Wests, I mean. So it was kind of confusing.
Comics always do that. Yeah. They always have to do that. It's
weird. The easiest way to tell them apart, honestly, is Wally 1 is white and Wally 2 is half black. So there's that.
Pretty much.
Other than that, they have the same powers, the same costume and everything. Well, maybe minor differences to their costume, but anywho. Last thing from my discussion with Michael is we were talking about Metron, who I'd never heard of before, but Metron has this chair called the Mobius chair, which Michael was talking about. Apparently, you sit in it and it gives the person in the chair infinite knowledge, and it also can travel through time and stuff, so that's cool.
So I think we found an upgrade to the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Only thing is missing is like a portable toilet in it.
Oh, or like George Costanza with the
fridge
on the side. The real upgrade to the Iron Throne.
True.
Well, do you know how the Iron Throne was made?
I can't say specific history, but I know when the Targaryens took over Westeros.
Right, so Aegon the Conqueror took the swords of everyone who fought against him. He melted it down to make this chair, his throne, called the Iron Throne.
The dragon.
Yeah. So it's called the Iron Throne, and so basically it's really uncomfortable. Like, everyone who sits in it says it's just not comfortable to sit in, but they do it as a display of power, which is weird because the Targaryens don't even rule anymore. It's House Baratheon.
Technically.
You know what? We're not going to get into it because, I don't want to spoil things.
True.
Okay, so moving on. So last week we were talking about Beauty and the Beast, and we were talking about all the Disney remakes, the live-action remakes they've had, and so I looked into it, and I'm pretty sure we named all of them, except for we missed 2, and they're not recent. They're quite old, actually. Mm-hmm. It's 101 Dalmatians and 102 Dalmatians, which I didn't even remember was a thing.
The Dalmatian movies or the...
No. I remember 101 Dalmatians because I remember Hugh Laurie and Martin Freeman were Jasper and Horace. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that they made a 102 Dalmatians.
Yeah, I actually have the movie.
Of course you do.
I've actually seen it. I know, right? One of the few movies I've actually seen.
Is it good?
It's okay.
See, I don't... After I read about it, I kind of remembered it, but I don't know if I've actually seen it. Because I know I've seen the animated version and the cartoon. Like the one on Disney Channel. Yeah. I remember that was a thing. But, yeah, I don't know if I actually saw the live-action one. Anyway, so technically those are live-action Disney remakes. They just came out in, 2001.
Yeah.
So they were way ahead of their time.
If you're waiting for me to make a joke, I don't have a joke to make about this.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah. Hugh Laurie. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And then Martin Freeman was the other one, right? I'm pretty sure.
I know Mr. Fantastic's in the movie, too.
Really?
In the second one, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, no stretchy abilities, though.
Oh, darn.
Mm-hmm. What a shame.
Did you ever see the movie San Andreas? Came out last year, I think.
The one with The Rock?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, he was in that, and
He was?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Spoiler alert: he's a massive, massive dick.
Did you like San Andreas?
No, it was pretty bad.
You didn't like it?
Nah, it's I like a good like disaster movie.
Yeah.
Like The Day After Tomorrow, I love that movie. It's so good, but San Andreas was pretty bad. Like even for lower standards, it was not good.
Was it because of The Rock?
No, he was fine.
It's just a movie by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti was in it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Was he good at least?
Yeah, no, he's always good. I've never seen a movie where I didn't like his part, or didn't like the way he portrayed his part.
Didn't he play Santa Claus once?
I don't think so.
I think with Vince Vaughn he did. Like he was Santa Claus and Vince Vaughn was his brother.
Oh, Fred Claus?
Yes, that movie.
I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm. Was he? I don't know. Check it out. And tell me if he was a good Santa Claus.
Well, it's not Christmas time, so remind me in...
It doesn't have to be Christmas time for you to watch a movie.
It does for me. I'm weird. The first movie I remember watching him in, though, was Big Fat Liar.
Oh.
I loved that movie. It was so good. It's probably, if I watched it again, I'd probably think it was dumb, but I loved that movie so much back then.
Mm-hmm.
That was before Amanda Bynes went crazy.
I didn't even know she went crazy until like recently.
Why? It was like everywhere.
Because I don't follow her, and plus, like I didn't have cable when I was younger, so I had no idea who Amanda Bynes was.
Oh, okay.
So I looked into it, I was like, wow.
Well, I didn't have cable when I was younger either. I remember she was on that show. What was it called? 10 Things I Hate About You? No. Maybe that is it. No, What I Like About You. That's what it's called.
What I Like About You?
Yeah. 10 Things I Hate About You is a movie, but that's... Yeah. Anyway. We don't need to go into that. Oh, that was before Heath Ledger died. That was...
Aww.
Sad.
Way to bring down the mood, Alex.
Okay, that was a really long tangent,
yeah.
But let's get back. Okay, so then after we talked about Beauty and the Beast, we talked about Finding Dory, and we talked about all the Pixar sequels. We didn't forget any, so go us.
Yay.
Okay, next. So
we finally did something right on the show.
Finally. So next, the main antagonist in season 2 of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe in 2002. Main antagonists were called the Snake Men.
Snake Men?
Yeah, I said snake people because I don't know. I guess
you didn't want to be sexist.
Yeah. But it's actually the Snake Men, and their leader is named King Hiss.
King Hiss.
Yes.
That's very creative.
I didn't come up with it.
I didn't say anything.
I wish I did, because that show was awesome, and I would love to have been associated with it. But
if only you had the power
of Grayskull.
Yeah.
Okay, next. So last week I was talking about the TV show or cartoon Legion of Superheroes. So I said that they went back in time to get Superman to help them fight off this bad guys. And I said that they were trying to get an older Superman, but that's actually incorrect. So I went back, watched the pilot, or not pilot, first episode, whatever. I watched the first episode, and so 3 Legionnaires go back in time to get Superman. It's Bouncing Boy, Saturn Girl, and Brainiac 5. And so they come out of their like time bubble thing right outside the sign for Smallville. Bouncing Boy says, "Wait, why are we here? I thought Superman lived in Metropolis." And he goes to Brainiac, he says, "Are you sure you brought us to the right time?" And he's like, "Yeah, trust me, I know what I'm doing." But then he never explains why, at least not in the first episode. Maybe he does later on in the series, but I didn't have time to go back and watch every episode of the show again. So if there is a reason, I don't know what it is, but as far as I know, I don't know what it is. Anyway, also, side note, the theme music to that show is really good. I rediscovered that when I watched it yesterday, so it's good stuff. And then, so season 2, I said that there's a Superboy Prime comes into the show. That's actually incorrect. It's a clone of Superman, Superman X. They call him Kal-El.
Say it one more time. What?
Kal-El.
Kal-El?
Yeah, instead of Kal-El.
So they just changed one letter?
Yeah. Well, he's a clone.
Okay.
Anyway, but I forget. See, now I'm gonna have to look this up.
Oh no.
Anyway, somehow they like infuse kryptonite into his DNA so that he's not weak to kryptonite.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry for the pause. That's really cool.
Yeah. But I don't know if
kind of dangerous, but really cool.
Yeah, well, because he doesn't have the Superman attitude. Like, I'm pretty sure he kills people.
Nice.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's a effect of the kryptonite or whatever, but
I don't know. It's like having a poison in your blood, I guess.
I guess.
It's like if we were living with like heroin in our bloodstream.
Heroin's not really poison.
Oh, fine. Arsenic.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like he just had like a hunk of kryptonite inside of him. Like the kryptonite was.
No,
like,
I get you. I get you. It was just like, whatever.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, but I don't know if he was still susceptible to the red sun thing.
If he was Kryptonian, I think that would maybe still have an effect.
Yeah, you would.
I'm only saying maybe because I'm not sure with that.
Oh, and I also don't know if that only applies to green kryptonite. Like if he would still be affected by other colors of kryptonite,
like red kryptonite.
Yeah. Which? What?
What?
No.
I'll say, what does red kryptonite do again? Because I know, like, I know there are different colors. I forgot which one red did.
Yeah, so red kryptonite basically makes you super angry and angsty.
Mm-hmm.
When I was at home on Wednesday, I actually watched the episode of Supergirl where she
gets red kryptonite. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, she just like becomes really angry at everybody. I also watched the crossover episode with Flash.
How was that?
It was okay. I was disappointed because I thought that it was going to be two parts because I thought she was going to go because he goes to Supergirl's dimension, but then she didn't go
dimension.
Like, yeah,
so it's a dimension thing.
Yeah,
okay.
Like in her
that does explain.
In her world, there's no Flash or Green Arrow. But
that explains a lot.
Now that she's going to the CW, I don't know if
that's going to still apply.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, what was I saying?
I don't know. Can you imagine if Arrow sees Supergirl? He'd be like, "You're not allowed in this city." I know he's like more open to partnerships now, but he's always like really angsty when like making new ones. So yeah. I mean, he takes the role of Batman like that. So it's just like
basically go
away
until Bruce Wayne grows up in Gotham, and then there's Batman.
And he comes from Fox to CW.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anywho, okay, and then last Legion of Superheroes thing. Did I say that already? Because there's actually one more.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so there's a Legionnaire who's made out of iron.
Oh, the iron guy?
Yeah, his name is Pharaoh Lad.
Pharaoh Lad?
Pharaoh Lad.
Okay.
Not Ferret Lad.
I didn't say Ferret Lad.
Okay.
Pharaoh Lad.
Yes.
Okay.
Ferro.
And how did he get the name?
Because he's made out of iron.
So did it just take like the symbol?
Yeah, he has it on his chest.
Okay. I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
Okay,
now Danny Phantom stuff. So the other dimension in Danny Phantom is called the Ghost Zone. I got that correct last time.
Nice.
And then the word that the ghosts use to describe Danny is they call him the Haffa.
The Haffa?
Haffa.
Okay.
Because he's half boy, half ghost.
That's very creative.
Yep. Moving on. So, the Shen-Gong Wu.
Oh, so you looked into this one too?
I did.
Okay.
And I didn't really come up with a satisfactory answer. According to the Shaolin Showdown wiki, or whatever, they were created by Grandmaster Dashi, who was the person who originally trapped Wuya
in the box.
Right. I only found that referenced one time on that one page. I couldn't find anywhere else to corroborate it. obviously didn't have time to go watch every episode and look at it. If you're out there and you have access to a hyperbolic time chamber, let me know, because I could use that to be even more thorough in my research for the show.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
You wouldn't want to go in a hyperbolic time chamber if you had the chance?
I don't know, man. I don't want to risk going insane.
They didn't go insane.
Huh?
They didn't go insane.
I know, but it was like, how long you stay in there, and you come back into the real world. It's like, oh my gosh.
I guess.
Everybody I knew is dead.
That didn't happen to Captain America, and you can only stay in there for 2 years. Okay, anyway. And then the lizard dude, the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot we talked about him.
His name was Chase Young.
That's right. I knew he had like a really like cool name, but it's like
it's a really white name.
Yeah, it's like really like, I don't know. You were expecting this like real epic ancient name, and his name is Chase Young. So I was like, okay.
Okay, and then last Shaolin Showdown thing. So I remembered. You remember we were talking about the French plant thing?
Yeah.
I remembered what the closed captions said.
What?
It was, "And I shall need a good barrier."
Okay.
Yeah. It was like I'm pretty sure it's like driving home, and it like just hit me. You know? Did you hate when that happens?
Yeah, all the time. Sometimes I'll be on the toilet and that happens.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, and actually, this is our last old thing. I'm surprised this didn't take that long.
I know, right?
Okay, so last old thing. The Team Lightyear on Buzz Lightyear Star Command. So it was Buzz Lightyear, obviously. And then the intangible girl, her name was Mira Nova. She was the princess of whatever planet she was from.
You can look into that too.
Okay, I will. And then the big dude, his name was Booster Sinclair Munchapper.
Sinclair?
That's what it said on Wikipedia.
Okay.
I didn't look into what planet he was from either. And then finally, the robot guy. When I looked this up, I was beating myself up because I couldn't remember this. His name was XR, which stood for... No, you don't know.
No, I don't.
XR stood for Experimental Ranger.
Oh my god. I can see why you did that now. Well, now I know my trivia.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually lied. I do have more old stuff to cover.
I knew it.
Okay,
it's too good to be true.
I was thinking of some honorable mentions for our underrated cartoons, and I went a little bit overboard.
A little bit.
Yeah, so I wrote down about 20 shows here, and I won't cover them all because A, that's a lot, and B, some of them aren't really underrated. Some of them are just like old cartoons that I watched when I was a kid, and so they don't really apply, and we can talk about them on another episode. But okay, but actually underrated ones. So first is Lunatics Unleashed.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
When the Looney Tunes become all, awesome.
Yeah.
And they get superpowers and they have weapons and they fight.
Yeah. So it's set in the future. I don't know how far in the future, but it's in Acmetropolis is the city. And so there's like some kind of event that makes the Looney Tunes. Well, they're not the Looney Tunes. They are, but they're not.
There's like characters that look like, Bugs Bunny.
So basically, so there's some sort of event. And so there's Bugs Bunny. His name is Ace. I remember that. I'm not going to remember anyone else's name. So there's Bugs Bunny, Lola, Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, Taz, and Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
And so they all have powers. Like Ace has laser vision, and he is also like a swordsman. Lola has like telekinetic powers. Roadrunner has super speed. Go figure. Wile E. Coyote has super intelligence, so he like builds all their like weapons and ships and stuff. Taz has like super spinning powers, and he also still can't talk. And Daffy Duck has teleporting powers, and then later on he gets I'm pretty sure he doesn't have it at first, but he gains the ability to like throw these like power orbs.
He can create like eggs and he can throw them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that was a really cool show.
Yeah.
And then they brought in like other characters like to be bad guys. Like there was Elmer Fudd, bad guy, and Sylvester and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a really good show. I really liked it when it came out. There wasn't really a lot of story, but
it was entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Okay, next one. We've actually talked about this on the show before. I forget which episode, but is Mucha Lucha.
Mm-hmm. Such a great show.
Yeah. Okay. So
we've mentioned it on the show before.
So Mucha Lucha is about these kids. It focuses on 3 of them, but they go to this show, or they go to this school where they learn how to be luchadors.
Yeah.
And so the main kid's name is Ricochet, and then do you remember what the girl's name was?
Buena Girl.
Oh yeah, Buena Girl, and then the other one was the Flea.
The Flea.
And so they all have their signature moves. So Ricochet's pulverizing pinball, and then Buena Girl turned into like a dump. No, it was a bulldozer.
Yeah,
and then the Flea blew up. Basically, it was like a human stink bomb, I guess.
I loved the Flea's voice.
Yeah,
it was my favorite voice actor on the show
because it was so like stereotypical Mexican. Well, I guess they kind of all were. Yeah,
it was such a hilarious show.
Yeah, good times, man. I tried to, when I was back in admissions, I tried to watch it, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
That stinks.
Yeah.
We should make our own luchador school.
Okay.
We can make that. We can make Xavier's school. Speaking of Xavier's school, did you see Apocalypse?
Not yet. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
Eugene saw it. He said it was okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
People have been saying it's okay.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the controversy, the billboard?
Sort of.
So
I saw the picture.
Sorry to interrupt. So basically, what happened was there was a billboard with Apocalypse. Sorry, Alex almost died. There was a billboard with Apocalypse choking Mystique, which comes out a lot of times in the trailer. Mm-hmm. And what ended up happening, this one woman, I forgot her name, it's like Rose McGowan or something.
Oh, yeah, from Charmed.
Yeah, she called out the billboard, saying that it was stupid and it was wrong for Fox to promote something like that. And then just, it got a lot of buzz, and Fox ended up saying, like, they apologized for it and they're going to take it down and everything. I don't know, man. It was a very... I'm not sure exactly what to think of this whole thing.
I agree. So I saw the picture of the billboard, and I agree it was kind of a weird image for them to pick to promote the movie. But I don't think it really promotes violence against women because it's in the movie itself. So...
I mean, if it was any other superhero, like a male superhero, what would have caused that much, like, buzz?
No. Yeah.
It's just a very interesting social thing to think of. I don't know if it should have gotten as much buzz as it did, though.
That's the dark side of social media.
That's the internet, you know. Anyways, back to honorable mentions.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, another one. Duck Dodgers in the 24th and 1/2
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Is that a good oh my gosh?
Yeah, that's a good oh my gosh.
Okay, so Duck Dodgers. How do I explain Duck Dodgers? Okay, so Duck Dodgers was he was in...
I don't know how to start this. He was a character that Daffy, he always portrayed before the show came out.
So anyway, so he gets frozen and he wakes up in the 24th and 1/2 century, and he joins their like space police, I guess. I don't know what it's called. And basically he's really he's not good at his job, but
he's Daffy. He's Daffy at his job.
Through dumb luck, he always gets the mission accomplished or whatever. And so they're always fighting with the Martians. Mm-hmm. So he's squaring off against Marvin the Martian, obviously, and then the Martian Queen, who ends up falling in love with him.
Which is really, really weird because she actually falls for him. Oh my gosh! And Marvin, he's so just dumbfounded by this. Yeah. Why is this happening?
Yeah. Anyway. I don't really have much to say about it. I just liked it. It's funny. It's dumb, but it's like a good.
I know it's like dumb. A good. They've been associated with Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
Looney Tunes are always a good way to go.
Very true.
Something that this generation has missed out on.
Okay, so the next one, and I know Brandon's about to freak out about this one. Ozzy and Drix.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ozzy and Drix was...
Oh, man.
Okay, so there was a movie called Osmosis Jones, and so he was a white blood cell.
He was voiced by Chris Rock.
Oh, yeah. in the movie, not
In the movie,
show.
yeah.
And so he's a white blood cell in this dude named Frank in his body. Frank played by Bill Murray.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember this. I watched the movie a long time ago, but I don't remember very well. But I remember this from the trailer. Frank was a zookeeper, and he was looking after a monkey one day, and this monkey was eating a boiled egg, and he dropped it on the ground, and so Frank picked it up and ate it.
Oh, God.
And so he got this infection from the monkey, and so there's this infection in Frank's body, and Ozzy's job is to fight it. And Drix was this pill that Frank took to like try and fight the infection or whatever. Long story short, spoilers, Frank almost dies, but they managed to kill the infection or whatever. And so the movie was popular enough, I guess, that there ended up being a show.
The show is awesome. I love the show.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the show way better than the movie. I actually watched the movie because I liked the show so much. But so Ozzy and Drix they were in the bloodstream or whatever, and this mosquito bites Frank and sucks up the blood.
Is that really what happens?
Yeah. Sucks up the blood. Then the mosquito flies out the window and goes somewhere else and bites this kid named Hector.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ozzy and Drix get deposited in Hector's body, and so then they do the same thing, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. That's like adjust to the new body. But
Yeah. And so basically the rest of the show is centered around them keeping Hector healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always some new, like bug or whatever. Like I remember there was this one episode where Hector had lice and it was picture day.
Yeah.
And so they had to like go up on his scalp to like freeze all the eggs and kill them all. And yeah, there's this other episode where he had a zit and they like killed it with toothpaste. Or was that the same episode?
I think that might be a different episode.
Oh no, it wasn't picture day for lice. It was just that he just had lice. It was picture day for the pimple one. That's what it was. Yeah. It's all coming back.
I also remember one time, like, Hector, he was getting cavities. And the cavities were made of, like, this army regiments. So they were extremely organized, and there was a colonel, like, cavity.
A corn kernel?
No. So they always had really interesting bad guys.
Yeah.
And then they get a dog.
Oh, yeah. It was like saliva,
Yeah,
right?
so Hector gets a dog, and the dog licks him in the face, and then something gets in his mouth. And then, so the dog saliva goes into Hector's, like, into his body, and the saliva turns into, a saliva dog. And Drix finds it, and he wants to keep it.
Yeah, so anyway, this was a really, really good cartoon. Not just, like, the action and the writing and stuff, but it was just, like, really, like, creative premise. Well, I guess that's because it was based off the movie, but... Yeah, it was really good.
They always had, like, really interesting stuff to go.
Yeah.
Like, cheeseburgers were cheeseburgers.
All right, let's move on. Okay, next one. And this one probably isn't underrated, but I don't know when we were talking about it, so we'll just talk about it now.
Okay.
Static Shock.
Okay.
So, Static Shock. So,
Put a
Virgil...
shock into your system.
Yeah. Virgil Hawkins was about 14 or 15. He was in high school. And... he got recruited by a gang, sort of. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think that happens. Like, he gets peer pressured into joining them.
Yeah, so anyway, so he's down by the docks, and there was this explosion of this chemical, and it made everyone who... So it was this gas, and everyone who...
was in the area.
Yeah, everyone who inhaled the gas got superpowers, and so Virgil was, like, super static electricity, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so then he used that power to fight crime.
Mm-hmm. And then the gang members who had the powers, they were called Bang Babies.
Yeah.
I actually, the show for me, I didn't really look into it until like I was a little bit older, but it dealt with some pretty good like social stuff.
Yeah, because
like with like inter gang violence. Because his mom, Virgil's mom. She died when there was this gang riot in the city.
Yeah, because she was like an EMT or a doctor or one of the two.
EMT, I think so. Because she was going around in an ambulance helping people out.
Yeah, and she got like caught in the crossfire.
Yeah. So I thought, wow, this is really dark for like a daytime cartoon show.
His dad like ran a community center, and so like there was a lot of stuff about like poverty and like children, like underserved children. So yeah, there was actually a lot of like really mature themes on top of all of the fighting and stuff.
And you really saw the Virgil struggle to be, he tries to balance superhero stuff and, being a kid who has to deal with, a broken family.
Yep. Well, I wouldn't.
I mean, he kind of, because like his dad, his dad was going through a lot after losing his wife.
Yeah.
So he becomes like really overprotective and really, really strict.
Yeah.
So Virgil and him are always like butting heads. And then there was Virgil's sister.
Yeah. Who dated Rubber Band Man?
Yeah. I don't know why. For some reason, I can always remember the fact that Rubber Band Man could not read. And I feel bad about that because, like, why do I remember that?
Why not?
Because Ebon could read.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's
He was,
true.
like, one of the smartest villains on the show.
Yeah.
And Ebon was my favorite villain.
Who's my favorite villain?
Was it the fire guy?
No, I never really liked him. Francis.
Yeah, Ajax.
Who's my favorite villain? I don't know.
Brainiac?
No.
He was in the show, though.
Yeah. That was because... Okay, so if you don't know, Static Shock, he's loosely based off of this other superhero called Black Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
I think Black Lightning came first, right? Or did he come after Static Shock?
Another thing to look into.
Anyway, so there's an episode where the Justice League gets Static to come up to the Watchtower because they need him to recharge their batteries. Yeah, so anyway, so they're like...
So literally nobody could have done that except for him.
Yeah, so like, okay, come up here. We're all going to go, like, fight crime in our own cities or whatever. And while him and his friend Richie, a.k.a. Gear, who also had superpowers, but that's a different story.
Did he have superpowers?
Yeah, he had super intelligence.
I thought he just had advanced intelligence.
No, because...
super?
Yeah, okay, so... All right, I'll get sidetracked. So, they theorized that after... Virgil was exposed to the bang gas. What was it called?
I don't remember.
Whatever. After
we'll call it the bang gas.
Okay, great. That doesn't sound dirty at all. So after Virgil was exposed to the gas, he theorized that like it was still like on his skin, and so because he spent so much time with Richie, that Richie was secondhand exposed to it, and so it took longer for his powers to develop, but he eventually gained super intelligence.
Yeah,
He built like rocket boots and this backpack thing that like detached and was a robot and
like Red Wing.
Yeah, basically. Anyway, so the two of them, they were chilling on the Watchtower, and then Brainiac had infected it, and they fought him off. Anyway, Static Shock. It's a good show.
It really is. Great show. Recharging their batteries.
Okay, next one. And this one's a little bit of a deep cut. But it's called Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue.
Oh, I remember this one actually too.
Awesome. Okay. So Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue. The premise was Shaggy had an uncle, a super rich, like crazy uncle who left him a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. And so like he inherited this mansion and stuff. And in the mansion there was this laboratory. And somehow he and Scooby made these Scooby snacks that could give them superpowers.
Everything's superpowers.
Yeah, basically. And then, so it was just the two of them. As far as I know, there were no episodes with the entire Mystery Gang or Mystery Incorporated. Not going into that again. And so they would use their newfound Super Scooby snacks to solve mysteries. Yeah. And that's all I remember about it.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't remember too much. I just remember that it was entertaining. It was funny. But nothing like too memorable.
Yeah, not the best Scooby-Doo cartoon, which is obviously a pup named Scooby-Doo, but it was
okay. Fun. Okay. We might have to argue there. But, okay.
You want to do this now, or you want to save
we'll
it
do this later?
Okay.
You know how like many Scooby-Doo cartoons there are out there?
That's true.
Man, I gotta start watching Scooby-Doo again.
Who has time for that? There's probably like 1,000 episodes of Scooby-Doo altogether.
I mean, who has time for all the things we do?
Not us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like I was telling Alex, like somebody like finally got me to watch a few episodes of Rick and Morty. And it was just enough for me to watch more, but I was like, oh my god, how am I going to watch this? Because obviously I can't watch this show while I'm at work because it's not the best show.
Yeah, and it's going to take away from all of your time watching Jane the Virgin.
Almost done with season 2, though. Almost done.
Congrats. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the next one, and I don't know if this one's underrated. Like, it's really hard for me to tell. So if you want to write in and let us know, you can. The next one I have is Captain Planet. See, I wouldn't think so. Like, I thought everyone knew who Captain Planet was, but my sister, when I remember I had to explain to her who Captain Planet was.
When was this, though?
It was a few years ago.
Maybe because Captain Planet came out before her.
She's older than you.
I'm just saying.
Or no, wait, you're 21, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, she's not 21 yet. So she's almost your age, but I guess you would know more nerdy things than her.
I would.
Anyway, Captain Planet.
Don Cheadle. Sorry, there was this thing that he did. Was it College Humor?
It was Funny or Die.
Funny or Die. Well, he plays Captain Planet.
Yeah, it was super weird.
Yeah, but it was really funny, though. I don't know how they convinced him to do it, but he did it.
Okay, so Captain Planet, I'll make this brief. So Gaia, the spirit of the Earth, she sees all of the environmental destructions that humans are doing. So she gets 5 teenagers with attitude.
Always has to be teenagers with attitude.
She gets 5
teenagers. It's the puberty in them they need.
She gets 5 teenagers and gives them these special rings. So there's this American dude who gets he's...
Do you want me to look it up so you don't have to look it back into it?
No, I can do this. I'm pretty sure he's fire. He's fire because he's a redhead. Okay. So there's the American dude who's fire. There's this dude from Africa who's earth. There's a chick from the Soviet Union. So that'll tell you how old this cartoon is. And I'm pretty sure she's air. And then there's this girl from she's like Pacific Islander. I'm not sure where exactly. And she's water. And then there's this other kid. He's either from India or Brazil. I'm going to say Brazil because they already have 2 people from Asia. So I think they've got that one covered. So I'm going to say Brazil. And he had this pet monkey. Anyway, and he had the element of heart. So you can say it.
No, keep going.
Okay, so anyway. So Gaia gets them together, gives them these rings, tells them they have to protect the planet. And when they combine their powers, they call upon Captain Planet, who's the embodiment of
the rings.
Yeah, and of protecting the planet. So that's the basic premise of Captain Planet. And I've seen a few episodes, and I liked it back when it was on.
Oh my god, LeVar Burton was on this show. And so was Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, she was Gaia.
She was?
Yeah.
Even the planet had attitude.
So anyway, back when I was at admissions, I tried to go back and watch this, but the only version I could find was this super, super low quality. Mm-hmm. And so that by itself probably wouldn't have deterred me, but the show was so cheesy, like the voice acting, and it's old, so, the animation was bad. So all that together, I was just like, I can't do this. After the first episode, I stopped watching it. Now, if I could ever find a good quality version, I'd probably suck it up and watch it, even though it is really, really cheesy. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely a classic. Like, you can't deny that.
Yeah, I'll give that to you. It is definitely a classic of this generation.
Well, I wouldn't even say this generation.
I'm talking about the generation came out.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
I probably should have said that better, but yes. Wow, it really was from the Soviet Union.
Sorry, Brandon's doing some on-air research for us. So
okay, so the Asian girl, she was from Thailand.
Oh, okay.
So you're pretty close to it. And the one who had the heart power.
Uh-huh.
So he was from Brazil.
See?
But he was raised by an Indian shaman. So you were actually right both ways. And yeah, he holds the power of heart and telepathy to instill caring, passion and sympathy into the people of the world to care for the planet.
Well, there you have it.
That is very specific. And the bad guys were called eco-villains.
Of course.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay.
And apparently there was a doctor called Duke Nukem. No association to the games.
Of course.
But
okay, so the next one I have, and this one's a pretty deep cut. I'll be surprised if you know this one actually.
okay.
It's Mummies Alive.
I don't think I do.
Okay, good. I stumped you. Okay, so this show, I don't know. Oh, it came on CBS originally, but I watched it like in syndication on UPN back when that was a thing before it was My 20 or whatever they call it in other.
No, I do know
places.
this show.
Okay, so
It was very interesting.
yeah. Okay, so real quick rundown of the premise. So there was this wizard in ancient Egypt, and he sacrificed, or he found out that he could become immortal by sacrificing the prince, like sacrificing his life. And so something happens, and he gets he gets entombed or arrested or whatever. So they trap him away, but he doesn't die. And so thousands of years later, in like the modern day or whatever, he gets freed, and he comes back to find the like ancestor or like the person who has the spirit of the prince and complete the ritual or whatever. And so after he gets freed, these three mummies who were assigned to protect the prince, they come alive, so mummies alive, and keep protecting him. And so whenever there was a battle, they were basically Power Rangers. Like they would have like these transformation sequences, and they had like this armor and stuff, and then they would do their fight, and then afterwards they would be tired and they had to go back to sleep in their sarcophaguses.
Sarcophagi. Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I remember.
Pretty much that's basically, yeah. I only saw like 2 episodes of the show.
Yeah, same probably, but I definitely remember that in their like battle modes or whatever, they look really, really cool.
Because they took on the spirits of like Egyptian gods.
Yeah, so it was a really good show. I would love to go back and watch it, but it'd probably be really hard to find. But yeah, Mummies Alive. Okay, let's move on. So next one, this one probably isn't underrated, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in here. Codename Kids Next Door.
Okay.
So, Kids Next Door. What can I say about Kids Next Door? So, the Kids Next Door was this organization of kids who were designed or set up to protect
childhood.
Yeah. So basically, like to protect to like enable kids to have fun and not like keep adults from ruining their fun. Basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the organization was worldwide, but it focused on this one team. So number one was this bald British kid who wore sunglasses all the time. And then there was number two, who was this fat kid who was really into planes and had this like aviator hat on all the time.
With his goggles.
Yeah. And then number three was this little Asian girl who was always
happy.
Like super happy.
And she had like oversized green sweater.
Yeah. And then number four
I like how the way you're saying like the numbers. Like it's like number, you're saying with attitude. No, I know, but you're saying with attitude, like how he does.
Yeah, no, because their official, like the way it's officially spelled is Numb.
Yeah. So I'm liking how you're keeping that into it.
Well, hey, I'm true.
Keep it authentic.
Material, yeah. Okay, so number four was this Australian kid who was like super tough. Well, he thought he was super tough, and
like a bowl cut.
Yeah, and he was just like always trying to pick a fight with people. And then number five was this black girl who was really sassy, and her dad sounded like Bill Cosby. Yeah. So that was the main characters. And something I never understood about it was even though they were number 1 through 5, they weren't in charge of the organization.
Yeah.
The main one was like, I want to say it was like number 86. I think she was like the one in charge or something. Yeah, I never understood that. But anyway, so they're like all assigned to like this like geographical locations or whatever.
So
they had this
treehouse.
Yeah, they had this awesome base that was in this tree. It was super cool. And they fought against all kinds of villains. Most of them were adults, but there were a few kids. The
Rich kids.
Yeah, who were actually, so this is going to be a spoiler if anybody cares, but they used to be agents of K&D.
Really?
Yeah, but then their dad was a bad guy, and he like somehow mind controlled them and took over and made them his slaves, basically.
Interesting. I just remember like the one kid who wore a football helmet all the time.
Yeah.
Wow, this show. It was a very fun show.
Yeah,
really,
it was
really,
really like off the wall,
but it was really creative.
Yeah,
you got to give him like props to that. Really creative.
Yeah, and they had a few movies, like TV movies, and they were really good.
That's when I think like when a cartoon has done well enough, it has enough popularity when it creates its own movie.
True. What else to say about Candy?
You got kicked out when you became a certain age.
Yeah, it was 13 when you became a teenager. You weren't allowed to be in it.
Which, that was harsh.
Yeah.
Makes me want to be a kid again.
Oh, I wish.
I was cute when I was a kid.
You're saying you're not cute anymore?
I don't know what happened, man. I really don't. It's all downhill from me.
Okay, next show is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
I actually didn't watch the show too much.
Really?
I knew about the show, so I know the characters and everything, but I didn't watch it as regular as some of the other Cartoon Network shows.
I watched it sort of consistently.
Yeah, because I had no access to Cartoon Network during this time, but I really, really liked the show. These shows during this time I thought were really creative for like the childhood mindset. Because, Kids Next Door and then Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I mean, it's things that you have to that you go through as a kid. Mm-hmm. You want to be a kid for a long time, and you want to maintain your freedom as a kid. As a kid, I don't know. Did you have an imaginary friend? I had imaginary friends.
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
I had 4 of them, and I was.
Do you want to tell us about them?
Nope. Those are personal secrets. Personal secrets. Thank you very much.
My bad.
Just saying. Okay. They're with us right now if you want to talk to them.
Anyway. Oh my God. Anyway, so Foster's Home. So they live in this world where you can create an imaginary friend, but it's not imaginary. Like, everyone can see it. And so it's about this kid named Mac. And he has this imaginary friend named Blue. And Mac and Blue are best friends, and they love each other and everything. But then Mac's mom decides that he's too old to have an imaginary friend. So Mac has to give him up for adoption, and there's this place in town called Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, where basically what they do is that anyone who decides they're too old for a friend to have an imaginary friend, they drop them off, or they give them up for adoption. And then they have kids who either can't create their own imaginary friends, or parents just want to adopt them, or whatever. They go and they adopt an imaginary friend. They take them home. So Mac takes Blue to Foster's, and they work out this deal where as long as Mac goes every day to the house and does some chores and stuff, that Blue can live there, but Mac still has ownership. Blue can't be put up for adoption. And so they're the two main characters, and there's a few other main characters that are imaginary friends. So there's Wilt, who's this really tall basketball playing imaginary friend. Yeah. And then there's Eduardo, who's this really scary, purple Mexican monster.
Yeah.
But he's a scaredy cat, and he's just super nice to everybody.
Yeah.
And then there's Coco.
Oh my gosh.
Who's this airplane bird with a coconut tree head who only says her name and can lay eggs that have random stuff in it.
I think those are the main ones, right?
Yeah, those are the main 3 that Blue hangs out with. But I mean, the house is full of friends, and a lot of them are reoccurring. Oh, the other main one, who's not really their friend, his name is Mr. Harrington. He's this giant rabbit, but he runs the house.
Yeah, he's very posh.
Yeah,
he has a monocle. Yeah, Mr. Harrington.
Yeah,
and he was actually Foster's imaginary friend.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so then there's Frankie Foster, who also lives and works in the house. And basically, she does all of the chores. She cooks the food and cleans the toilets. And this house is enormous. Because every friend has the room, whatever. The house is gigantic. I don't even know. I don't even have a good analogy. Yeah.
It's like Hogwarts for imaginary friends.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But then my favorite character from the show was Madame Foster, because she's this tiny little old lady,
really tiny,
and she is insane. She's just like super like off the wall, like quirky and crazy, and basically she's the total opposite of Harrington, who was her imaginary friend. And
like she gets into fights with old people.
Yeah,
like, it was really funny. Like, 'cause she's still old, so she has to take like really small steps. But she was like swinging her cane like some other old people.
Yeah, she was my favorite. But yeah, so I watched this pretty like last year or whatever, and I really liked it. But one thing I didn't like was Blue. Mm-hmm. He's so obnoxious.
Yeah,
he's so selfish, and he just got on my nerves. Now, later in life, you know, when I watched it, I didn't really notice it, but yeah, he was the worst.
Yeah, it's strange, but you still like him, like in a way, but he just annoys you.
Yeah,
like in regular show, like that's how I am with the character Rigby. He's pretty much exactly like Blue, just a raccoon. I remember one episode with Blue, like he thinks he lost Mac as a friend, so he becomes like this Darth Vader figure.
Oh yeah.
And it shows like the whole like in episode 3 when Anakin gets the suit, like he's on the table and the helmet comes on and he like rises up. They did that whole process. It was just hilarious to watch.
I'm alive.
For now.
Okay, next one. The Hi Puffy Amiyumi show.
Yeah. When I first like saw previews for the show, I had no idea what it was about. And then I saw a couple episodes. I'm like, okay. I just know that the main characters there, they were actually the people who sung the theme song for the Teen Titans show. Not Teen Titans Go, but the original one that came before that one.
Teen Titans Go is the same.
Oh, does it? Because I usually watch it on the internet and I skip like the opening sequence, so I never see it.
Oh yeah, Teen Titans Go has the same theme song. Okay. Anyway, Hi Puffy Amiyumi, they're actually a real life pop group. Well, they were. I don't know if they still are. And then the cartoon was basically just about the two of them traveling the world on tour with
going on adventures
with their weird pervy bus driver guy. And yeah, that's all I'd say about it. I just remember that show. I thought it was fun.
Damn, Alex, I think this is gonna be your last podcast.
Okay, GG, RIP, Alex. Carry on without me. Okay,
I'll pour one for you.
All right, next show I have, and we're almost done. Next one is Chowder.
You know, I never saw Chowder.
Chowder was really funny. So they lived in this world where everyone was like food, either food or named after food, and everyone like cooked. Anyway, there's a bunch of cooking and cooking puns, most importantly.
Nice.
So Chowder he wanted to be the world's like greatest cook or whatever, and so he was apprenticed to this master chef or something named
Gordon Ramsay.
No. What was the chef's name? Like, was it Mungus? I don't know. And then the chef guy was married to this little babushka fairy lady who had like this Eastern European accent, and she was like super mean. And then there was this assistant named Schnitzel, and he was this like giant like brown like guy, and he couldn't speak, but everyone could like understand him. It was one of those kinds of things. And
it's like
so
Groot.
Yeah, basically, well, except everyone can't understand him. Just
they can get, you know, the premise.
okay, but like whenever Groot says Groot, like Rocket knows what he's trying to say. Or like with Chewbacca, like whenever he says something and then Han just automatically knows what he's trying to say. So anyway, so Schnitzel, his phrase was rada 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 rada. And it was really funny. Anyway, I just remember thinking the show was really funny back when it came on, and it was good stuff. Okay, so next one I have is the Superhero Squad show.
I know a little bit about this.
Yeah, so I actually just finished watching this pretty recently. I think since we started recording this show. Well, not this episode, but you know what I mean.
When we first started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Superhero Squad show is about the Superhero Squad. It's basically the Avengers, but they're not the Avengers. There's a main heroes is Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Falcon,
Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine, Reptile, And I think that's it. I think those are the main ones. And then Captain America and Miss Marvel work for S.H.I.E.L.D. to like check in on them every once in a while. So apparently this is after the Sokovia Accords have been signed.
Yeah.
And they're trying to find the fractals of the Infinity Sword. And so, or at least that's in season 1. So the Infinity Sword was broken up. Dr. Doom thinks that if he can reassemble the sword, that he will be unstoppable. He'll have
unlimited power.
And yeah, so basically it's just this really not serious, like quirky kind of superhero show. And yeah, it was really funny. It's just like dumb, a lot of like slapstick gags, and yeah, good stuff.
I think one episode I remember the most was, I just remember the segment, but Thanos and Adam Warlock were stuck.
Yeah,
I think
that's in season 2. Yeah,
and then they basically share a bedroom together.
Yeah,
and it was really, really funny because Thanos just keeps complaining to Adam Warlock that he never does his laundry and he always leaves stuff around, and it's just, I don't know when else are you gonna see somebody have Thanos as a roommate? And it's like, you gotta clean it. It's fine, I'll do it myself.
Okay, next one I have, and this one probably isn't underrated, but whatever, is Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah, I'd say this one's just old.
Yeah.
But awesome show.
Yeah, see, I didn't really watch this one when I was little because it genuinely scared me.
Yeah,
like,
this is a freaky show.
It was really creepy.
Like, unless you have, like, that's, like, humor style, it's gonna creep you out. Even, like, looking back on some episodes now, I still get genuinely, like, disturbed the fact that this came out on, a kid's network. But that's the way you do it with humor, I guess.
Yeah.
What was, like, the freakiest episode for me? Because there were a good ton of those. I think it was the one when this barber dude came to the house and he shaved all of Kurt's fur. And he was really creepy because he had this humongous smile. And he had this really weird obsession or fetish with shaving things. And it just really, really freaked me out.
Yep, sounds about right. That's pretty weird. This probably isn't like the creepiest episode I watched, but I just remember this one episode really vividly where there's like these eggplant people who live underground, and they like come out of the ground, and it's just...
That was... And then Eustace always gets like the short end of the stick because he always gets like, whatever happens in the episode, he gets the bad stuff happen to him.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, and then... Okay, I'll just make this the last one so we can move on. The last one I have is Dexter's Laboratory.
No, Dee Dee.
Yeah, I never understood that. Like,
what?
Well, this one is particularly guilty of it, but this is not the only one that does it. But when one of the characters in a family like has a random accent and then no one else does.
Yeah, I never understood why he had an accent.
Yeah, it was weird. And I don't even know what kind of accent it was.
It was like a mix between like Eastern European and some other Russian and something.
It's weird. Anyway, so Dexter's Lab, if you somehow don't know what that is, it's about this boy genius.
You're too young for us, man.
It's about this boy genius named Dexter, and he has this secret laboratory under his like house.
I think it's in his house, actually. Sometimes it's a huge laboratory, so it probably just takes up most of the house.
Yeah. So his parents don't know about it, but his sister Dee Dee does.
And she always busts into the laboratory.
Yeah. And so basically he just like invents stuff, and it usually gets him into trouble. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing about the show was the monkey and how he was like how he had superpowers or whatever, and he fought off against Mandark's evil duck thing.
Weren't Mandark's parents hippies?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember an episode which showed the origin of Mandark, and he was born with hippie parents. Like they showed him giving like how he was born. So his parents were in a pool or in a lake, and then there was like breathe in, breathe out.
That's weird, man.
And then it's like the camera floats down to the water and shows Mandark floating with his face like an evil smile. Yeah,
that's real. That makes me uncomfortable.
This show was just out there, though.
Yeah.
And I loved how his dad was just like, I don't know, the typical, like, I want to say 60s dad. He's like all nice and like he'd come home
Dexter's
to
dad?
Yeah, Dexter's dad.
And the mom.
And then the mom she was always at home cleaning, cooking.
Yeah. Like she always was wearing
gloves and apron. Yeah. I also remember, I think the mom got sick. So Dexter made a robot mom. And then Dee Dee took control of that one. So he made another robot mom. And then they just fought each other doing chores and everything. So it's just...
Yeah. Dexter's Lab. It was not my favorite cartoon, but it's good.
Dee Dee annoyed me so much. I hated Dee Dee. I think the one I remember the most was like he ate this humongous burrito, and he was like having all his like gas problems, and he thought he was gonna die.
Hey man, we've all.
So it was basically Iron Man 2, where he tries to like he promotes world peace. He actually gets a world peace. He does a bunch of good stuff. He gives all this technology to Dee Dee. So it's like when Tony gives his stuff to Pepper. It's like that.
Oh my gosh. And
then he goes to tell his parents that he's about to die. And he goes in front of the TV. And he just farts really loudly. And you can see from outside the house the gas is like coming out. And then he farted so violently he broke the TV.
Okay. I lied. I have one more because I couldn't read my shorthand, and so I remember what it is. And this is actually an underrated one. Okay. It's Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. Yes!
Okay, when you said about mummies alive, I was like, oh my god, like, I remember those cartoons that came on my 20. Yes, I remember this show.
Okay, so Sherlock Holmes, basically, long story short, is he gets transported from, what one was, like, 18th, 17th century?
Whenever, like, the actual...
Yeah, whenever that time period was set, he gets transported into the 22nd century. I don't know if it was on purpose or it was an accident or what.
He was, like, cryogenically frozen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, he wakes up, and basically he works for New Scotland Yard solving crimes. He has a robot, Watson, who helps him out and stuff, and I know Moriarty had something to do with something.
Yeah, he's in the show.
Yeah, so I didn't watch a whole lot of this show, but I just remember it was really good.
Yeah. And Lestrada's a woman.
Oh, really? Interesting.
She's like, you know, the descendant of the actual Lestrada.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, actually. It was interesting enough to like watch multiple times.
Good stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait for the new season of Sherlock to come out.
It's come out on Netflix.
What?
It's out on Netflix.
Season 4?
Oh, season 4?
Yeah.
Oh, did you see season 3 already?
Yeah.
Oh.
That came out like 2 years ago.
Wait, no, not season 3. No, it's season 4. Is it? That's the one with the Abominable Bride, right?
I don't remember.
No, yeah, season 4 is on Netflix.
What?
Yeah.
Well, now we know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yep.
Okay, well, on that note, we're going to take a break. You're going to listen to music. You know the drill. So we'll see you. We'll be back in a second. Okay, we are back. So we actually don't have any movie trailers to talk about for once.
Right?
It feels weird. Feels weird. But there is a new Pokemon trailer that came out this week, and so we'll go and talk about that real quick. So we got English names and abilities and typing for the box art Pokemon, the new legendaries. So the lion thing, his name is Solgaleo. I think I'm saying that right.
I think so.
He is Psychic Steel type, and his ability is called Full Metal Body. Now, I won't go into abilities because I don't think we have too many big Pokemon people other than Susie. Shout out to Susie, but, for everyone else's sake, I won't go too much in detail. But we'll talk about typing. Typing's pretty important. Mm-hmm. Not a fire type.
Yeah,
very
I was really surprised
surprising.
about that. Yeah, because he's the sun. I thought it was gonna be like something like that.
Yeah,
but no.
Yeah,
Psychic and Steel.
Yeah, which I don't really see either type in his design. It's very strange.
I mean,
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to see
Psychic Steel's a pretty good typing, shared with Jirachi, Bronzong, Metagross family. Mm. So good defensive and offensive-ish typing. But as far as his design goes, I don't really see.
You really couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I actually when I first saw it, I couldn't tell until they finally said it. I was like,
yeah, but fire typing isn't that great, and we got with Primal Groudon is part fire type, and that was the most recent game, so I guess I see why they didn't want to do that, but
it's just rehashing it. So yeah, I get it, but when you think sun, you would automatically think heat and fire.
Yeah, but he has a signature attack.
His signature move.
Yeah. Do you remember what it's called?
I didn't see it.
It's like Sun Strike, Solar Smash, something.
Yeah.
And yeah, but that's not a fire type attack either, because you use it on a Salamence. Salamence is a dragon type. Dragon types resist fire, so it's not even a fire type move. So I don't know what type it is.
Yeah. The word solar should not have been in there.
Yeah, so that's cool. Then the other one is called Lunala, and it is a psychic ghost type with the ability something. Shoot.
This one, the type matches more with the design.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I had no idea what this thing was because it had I just saw the moons at first. And I realized it was a bat. I was like, okay, now I see where they're going with this.
Yeah, but again, most people were figuring that the sun lion thing would be fire type or part fire type, and then this bat thing would be part dark type.
Yeah,
light and dark, but there's no light type.
See, I also
this one's not dark.
I would have
type.
assumed even water because the tides.
Yeah. That would a water dark type. I mean, I would have been totally okay with that. But nope. Psychic Ghost, same type as Hoopa, a mythical Pokemon from Gen 6. So yeah, that's cool. And then it had a move called Moongeist Beam, Ghost type move almost certainly, because it hit super effective against Gengar, so that would line up. Out of the two, I'm leaning more towards Solgaleo. He looks pretty rad.
That's true. I do like the design very much.
I mean, Lunala's design is pretty cool too, but I think I'm probably going to go with Sun version. What about you?
I'd probably go with Moon version.
Okay. Well, then you should get that so we can trade.
Here.
No, trade Pokemon.
I know, just here.
But you don't have a 3DS, so...
I'll put on my to-do list. another $1.
Anyway, I think that's all we have to say. I mean, that's pretty much all that was.
Yeah, I mean, it showed some couple of environments, some characters.
Yeah, that's true. They reveal what the trainers look like. I'm not a big fan of either the male or the female designs, honestly.
Why?
Well, the female had that weird chicken hat, and then the male.
What's wrong with chicken hat?
I don't want to look like a chicken.
Oh, I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Okay. And then, I still have those dishwashing gloves, but I've never used them.
Good, because they probably would have faded away by it. In case you guys didn't notice, last year for his birthday, I got Alex a gag gift. So I bought a pair of yellow dishwashing gloves, and I drew the Infinity Stones into them. So I basically made him like an Infinity Gauntlet with like the gloves.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was...
Tell me about the other one.
And the other one I wrote slap ass on. So, in case you don't know this, it was based off of the comedy duo Key and Peele. They had a segment which was called Slap Ass, which followed this Dominican baseball player named Rafi, who was obsessed with slap ass, which means like every time after a game he would slap his teammate's butt, or even like during the game he would slap their butt. Because in baseball or in sports, like you do something good, you slap the other player's butt. He just did it whenever he had the chance. And then I just like thought this would be funny to do, so I just kept like hitting people, and I thought it'd be funny, like oh, you have a glove, you could slap ass somebody on the butt with it. So I just wrote slap ass on the glove. And okay, that's the story. There's nothing really too deep into it. I just made him an Infinity Gauntlet and a slap ass glove. There.
Thank you. Okay. Where were we? Oh yeah, chicken hat.
Yeah, chicken hat.
So I wasn't really a fan of that, and then. For the male player character's design, he has I don't know, it just didn't really generic. Yeah. I saw someone on Twitter pointed out that he's wearing a blue and white striped shirt, and then they put a character portrait of Team Aqua, and they also have blue and white striped shirts, and so I was like, are you gonna try to join Team Aqua in the new game? But obviously you wouldn't do that. Yeah, and so then they reveal the name of the professor for the region, and the professor has an assistant named Lily, and yeah, it just showed off a few environments, but other than that, not too much to it. Usually when the new Pokemon games come out, I try to stay away from a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to know...
Yeah, because it spoils the fun.
Yeah. I don't like knowing, what types of gym leaders in the Elite Four are, or, about too much of the design of the new Pokemon. And so now all I really want to know is what the final evolutions of the starters look like, so that I can pick which one I want to pick, and then just get the game and try it out. Hopefully it's fun. I really enjoyed Y, X, and Y when it came out, and even though I'm not as into Pokemon anymore, even compared to back when that game came out, I'm still looking forward to the new game. So speaking of games, I got a chance to play some more games this week.
All right. Talk to me about it.
All right, I will. So first, I totally finished everything with The Amazing Spider-Man. So
that's done?
Yeah. So you know how I was talking about going around collecting comic book pages? Mm-hmm. So doing that actually unlocks digital versions of comic books in the game.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, so there's 11 comic books total. So there's the first appearance of Spider-Man, like the original Spider-Man comic. And then they have the first appearances of other main characters in the game. So there's like the first appearance of the Lizard, first appearance of Gwen Stacy, first appearance of Black Cat, others like that. And there's also this one comic where Stan Lee is baking cookies and Spider-Man comes to visit him.
Does he give him a cookie?
He tries to. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say it. So Stan is like chilling in his apartment. He's getting ready to bake. Not get baked, but bake. Spider-Man comes in and he's like, hey, Stan, look, I gotta talk to you, man. Like, I'm really tired of being a superhero. Like, it's like a thankless job, and like I do so much, and I'm risking my life, and I feel like there's no reward for it. And then Stan's like, look, Spider-Man, you're looking at this all wrong. If you quit being a hero, I'll be out of a job. The people who make the video games and the costumes and sell the cups with your faces on it, they'll all be out of a job too. And then Spider-Man's like, oh, you're right, I can't do this. Like, I need to get back out there and get back to work and protect the city and stuff. And Stan's like, hey, do you want a cookie? And Spider-Man's like, no, I'll be distracted. If I eat the cookie, I'll be distracted, and I can't have that or something. It was weird.
That must be a damn good cookie if he's going to get distracted like that.
Yeah, so anyway. So I read all of those. It took quite a while. It probably took me about 2 hours to read all 11 comics, yeah. At least that long. But it was good. It was a good, distraction. And I wish I'd been reading them as I went along playing the game instead of saving them all to the end. I feel like that probably would have been a better way to break it up. But yeah, it was good. So I got that behind me. And so before I went to go start playing a new game that I would put a lot of attention into, I decided to have a little bit of a palate cleanser. So I started playing Nintendo Land.
Okay.
So
always fun.
Nintendo Land was a launch game for the Wii U, which I got with my Wii U because I got it from Walmart and I had to buy this bundle, but that's the story for another day. So anyway, I've been playing Nintendo Land, on and off for ever since I got the Wii U. And there's the way Nintendo Land works is there's these 12 attractions, so it's 12 different mini games. And the game that I play the most is called, actually, what is it called? It's a Metroid game. It's based on the game Metroid. So you are in Samus's ship, you're flying around, you're shooting, and you have these missions. So there's 30 missions total. And so you have a main objective for the mission, but then after you beat it, you can play it again with another objective. They give you another objective in order to master it. So let's say your objective the first time is to just beat all the enemies on the map. So it'll tell you, do it in a certain amount of time, or do it without taking any damage, or do it without picking up any power-ups, or stuff like that. To begin with, it's not too challenging, but at the end, obviously, it's super hard. For the final mission, in order to master it, I must have played it at least 50 times. Yeah, so it was a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of frustration, but finally I mastered every mission in the Metroid game, and so I was super proud of myself. I was like, yes.
Go, Alex.
I am unstoppable. There's nothing I can't do. At least I thought. So then I decided that I was going to start playing a new game, which was DuckTales Remastered.
Oh, a good choice.
I thought so too.
But
so DuckTales Remastered was originally an NES game. It will either NES or SNES. Do you know?
I think it's SNES.
Yeah, it probably is SNES. Anyway, so it's based off the cartoon DuckTales, which is the classic. We won't go into it too much. I think we've talked about plenty of cartoons.
Maybe we should
already.
put it as underrated.
No, I don't think it's underrated
You don't think
at all.
so?
No, I don't think. I think it. DuckTales came on before us, so people from our generation don't talk about it as much.
Yeah.
But I know people that are older than me. They talk about it like they love it so
Really?
much. Yeah. So
I think
not
the only person I really know who I've really talked to is Michael about it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen every episode of DuckTales. Anyway, so
Can you make the Daffy Duck voice?
Daffy Duck.
I mean Donald Duck. Donald Duck. Okay, I get them mixed up sometimes. All right, like every other person, I mix them up.
I don't, and no, I can't. I could do a Scrooge McDuck impression.
Please do.
But I won't.
Come on.
No.
Bro.
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on. Petition him to do the voice.
So anyway, I went and I started playing that game. First level was fine, but that's just like the introductory to like introduce you to the mechanics. After I started playing like the actual like first level, I found I was in way over my head. Like it was super hard. Point by point, it wasn't too bad, but you only have 3 lives, so you can only take 2 hits, and then you only have 3 health, so you take 2 hits. Well, you can only take 2 hits, and then you're dead. After you lose a life, you start over. Like there's one checkpoint like super far into the level, and it took me a bunch of tries to even be able to get that far into the level to get to that checkpoint. And so I managed to get to the boss a few times, but then I lost all my lives, and guess what? You have to start over from the beginning of the level. It takes you back to the money bin. You go back into the level, you have to start all over. So I did that a few times, and I just got so frustrated. Like, you can ask Robin. Like, she was there when I was playing it yesterday, and I was just so mad. It's just... So there's an original DuckTales on the SNES, like I was saying earlier. I never got back to finishing that point. And so just either last year or maybe the year before, they came out with a remastered version of it to make it look pretty. And it looks really good. Like, I'm not denying that. But they didn't update any of the mechanics. So they could have put in a save system. They could have put in not taking you back to the beginning of the level.
Something to make the gameplay just a little bit more...
I mean, I guess, but, like, that's so frustrating. Like, I don't have time to sit there and try to figure out how every single enemy moves to not get hit and have a perfect run of the game. Like, I just want to, like, blaze my way through the level and get to the end and then move on, because I don't want to be sitting there for hours and hours trying to beat each level almost perfectly. Like, I'm not that skilled.
Yeah. That's how they did it back in the day, though.
Yeah, but I don't have that kind of time. I got so many games to play, and I don't want to give up on this game. Like, I don't want to just say, okay, this is too hard for me, but I don't want to sit there and just beat my head against the wall until I finally manage to get it over and over.
I think we might have found your new mission in life. To become like the MLG of DuckTales.
Yeah, so I think for now I'm probably going to set this game aside, and
probably for your best. It's best for your health and your like sanity.
Yeah, I'm going to set this game aside, and I want to come back to it. I got this game really cheap. I don't remember how much it was, but I downloaded it from the eShop for on sale. So I probably got it for like $10. So if I never played it again, I could say, I tried it and it wasn't for me. That sucks, but at least I'm not losing that much money. But
I don't know about that. It's $10.
I've definitely paid more for games that I played less of. So anyway, point is, this game is very frustrating. It's not my kind of thing. Like,
ain't your cup of tea.
Yeah, it's like, have you ever played Mega Man, the Mega Man games?
I did, yes.
So this is very similar to that. It's probably actually easier than Mega Man, but it's that kind of thing where you just play. When you were younger, for people who grew up with it, they would just sit there and play over and over and over because they didn't have other games, and there were so much less forms of entertainment and stuff. So they would play it over and over and over, learn all the patterns, and just be able to perfectly run through those levels. I don't have that kind of time. And I've played Mega Man on my 3DS, abusing the crap out of save states. And I know that's not the way the game was intended to be played, but that's the only way I can get through it because I'm not that skilled and I don't have that kind of patience. So there's no save states in DuckTales, so I don't think... I'm not saying I can never make it through the game, but it would be really difficult, and I don't want to just... Like I said, I don't want to keep beating my head against the wall because it's not fun. That's not fun for me.
True, yeah.
Okay, I got that out of my system, so...
You good?
Yeah.
See, this is very therapeutic for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Helps you out.
Okay, so next, we got some news. So it was announced this week that they're going to be reshooting select scenes from Rogue One. I read somewhere about 40% of the movie is being reshot. Yeah. I don't know how accurate that number is, but yeah. So a significant amount of the movie is they're shooting again, because the quote that I read was that it didn't have a Star Wars feel to it. I think is that what you heard? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know what that means exactly.
Maybe they thought it was too dark, or too, I don't know, maybe this felt as like lacking the Star Wars vibe from it, which I don't see how that's possible because it's set in the Star Wars universe and it deals with events that happened before Episode 4. I mean, I understand it, but it's still a little bit confusing for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah, so I think the fact that they're, paying attention to the details and, trying to make sure that it's the best movie they can put out is a good sign.
That is,
and so I think overall it's a good thing that they're reshooting. The fact that they have to go back and reshoot is maybe a little worrisome, but they're putting that care into it, and I'm glad they're not just saying like, okay, we're putting this movie out in December no matter what, so we don't care how people are going to react to it.
That is a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. But
I just hope like it comes out to a good movie. I just hope the reshoots don't end up making it to be like lesser in quality. You know what I'm trying to say?
Or too choppy.
Yeah, because that could happen from like editing. I mean, they have really good editors because Disney can afford it, but it's just it's a risk that could happen.
Yeah. So,
but then again, we know nothing about. We really don't know anything about the things that Rogue One of the characters. So
yeah,
whatever comes out, we'll have to see from that.
Yeah. So you know what I had a thought the other day.
Okay.
So Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel now.
That's right. Yeah.
So I had a thought. What if in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, a Groot still hasn't regrown fully, spoilers, and they decide they still need a fifth person for their team, so they recruit Jar Jar Binks.
Okay.
And
that's a little scary.
They recruit him on their team to help on whatever mission they're doing in the second movie.
I could see that.
Yeah? Would you watch that movie?
Yeah.
Me too.
Unlike most people, I don't have a beef with Jar Jar.
I kind of do. Like, he's definitely annoying.
Yeah, I'll get that, yeah.
But I don't think he ruined the franchise.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, you never know. Maybe Jar Jar and Groot get along really well with each other.
Do you want to talk about the Jar Jar Sith theory?
No, I do not want to talk about the Jar Jar Sith theory. Oh, man, it becomes like true. Oh, my gosh.
It won't.
Never say never, Alex.
That's true.
He'll end up being Jar Jar with like a really deep voice. Can you imagine?
Misa going to kill you.
Unlimited power. Yeah. Imagine him saying that.
Okay, so next, we've got a couple one casting rumor and one casting confirmation. Uh-huh. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do a rumor.
Okay. So, Brie Larson is in talks to play Captain Marvel in the upcoming Captain Marvel movie.
Now, do you know much about Brie Larson?
Sort of. So she was in the movie Room, which came out last year, was nominated for an Oscar, and I saw that not too long ago.
How was it?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. I thought she did a good job. Her kid was annoying, but we're not talking about that movie right now. So other than that, I don't know anything about her. What about you?
I really don't know too much about her. I knew she came in the movie, but I didn't see the movie. So I'm pretty much in the dark with her. So it wouldn't be the first time that Marvel's done that before, because I know a lot of stars, they got their jump start with Marvel. You could say that. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they picked her for that role. Now, what would you want out of a Captain Marvel movie?
I don't know. We talked about the Marvel lineup already, and like I said before, like I don't really know much about Miss Captain Marvel. I don't know anything about Miss Marvel either, but
I mean, I see it being towards a more cosmic setting, so more in space, like the Guardians. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they'll even like run into them at some point. But I mean, I could see it works out, but I just hope they're not just like running through like the whole roster of blonde actresses to see who they could pick for that.
Let's see. Other blonde actresses. Paris Hilton.
Oh, yeah, because that's definitely going to work out.
Totes. Now, let's see. Who would I really cast? We already talked about Charlize Theron, I think.
Yeah.
And I could see that. She's a pretty good actress.
She might be on a little bit, like, older side.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't look it, though.
Yeah.
We can get Daenerys Targaryen.
Ugh. She's too tiny. Yeah, I can't think of anybody.
Why am I drawing? I hate it whenever we get these things and we draw a blank, and then the next day we're like, yeah, this totally could have worked out, and we never like think about it on the spot.
No, we can't. No, pretty much.
Taylor Swift.
I mean, in the Bad Blood music video, she was doing some
stuff.
Yeah.
You never know.
That's a good groundwork, I guess. Okay, let's move on. So it was announced yesterday that Sir Anthony Hopkins, the great Oscar-winning, I'm pretty sure he has, Oscar-winning actor, is going to be in Transformers 5.
I do not know how they got that. Because I would assume he would think that that's beneath him or something. Either that, or they gave him a lot of money, or the actors managed to convince him to do it. I do not know how he was convinced to be in the movie.
Well, good actors do bad roles all the time.
That is true. So
and it's not, the movie that they're in is only matters to a certain extent. As long as they're doing their best job, like, bringing their best acting game to the movie, I'm okay with it. I don't care what movie they're in. I
mean, I know he'll do a good job of what he does. I would want him to also love his work as well. So, I mean, do you think he's gonna play a human character? Is he gonna play a Transformer?
Do they have any British Transformers?
A lot of them they have accents.
Really?
Yeah, like the
I don't keep track.
In the third one, those race cars, I forget what they were called. Like Wreckers or something. All of them had...
they're like Jamaican, right?
They were not Jamaican.
Oh, what were they?
They had British accents.
Oh, really?
Or Australian accents, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then in this last one, Transformers 4, like the green one, I didn't see it, but I saw a clip and he had an accent too.
Yeah, does he do a lot of voiceover work? I don't...
Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah.
Sir, gotta put that in there. I don't know, actually. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure he's in a couple of it.
I'm sure he's done some, but I can't think of any big roles that he voiced over. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see what's happened. Well, actually, I probably won't go see that movie. I don't think I saw any of it. No, I saw at least one of them in theaters, either the second one or the third one.
I saw the first, second, and third one in theaters. Mm-hmm. The fourth one, I just stopped caring. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this.
Do you miss Shia LaBeouf?
In a way, yes, I do actually. I miss his screaming and how all the Transformers always has to save him. I actually like this character.
Sam Witwicky.
Witwicky, yeah.
Wiki.
Do you miss Megan Fox?
No. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually liked her character too. I didn't think she was a bad actress. She wasn't phenomenal or amazing, but she wasn't bad. But she's gonna get a return in TMNT, which I've been heard is it's been doing okay.
Oh, have reviews come out already?
Yeah, some of them.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Don't expect anything amazing from that movie, but it's fun. It's entertaining. It takes the spirit of what you saw in the trailer. It carries on with that spirit.
Okay.
So it's not trying to make it itself any more darker or serious, but
well, yeah, because it's out of the shadows, so obviously it's not dark.
You don't know that.
How can you step out of a shadow into the dark? That doesn't make any sense.
You bring the darkness with you.
But then you're still in the shadows.
But even in the light, the shadows are still there.
Yeah, but if you're not in the shadows, then you're in the light.
Are we having a philosophy talk on this show?
Hey, liberal arts education.
I know, right? Thanks a lot. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, okay, so now we're going to do a segment of movies that deserved sequels. Deserve sequels.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, you suggested this topic on an earlier episode, way back towards the beginning. I've been holding on to it, so I thought this would be a good time to...
You're so sweet.
Yeah, I try.
Is that what you tell Robin?
What?
I try.
That you try or that I try?
You try.
I do try.
I have nothing to do with Robin. What are you talking about?
Okay. I was confused.
When was the last time I talked to Robin? Probably back in April.
Okay.
Should I talk to her?
You do whatever you want. I mean...
You start a segment. I'll text her right now.
Okay, so movies that deserve sequels. Where do I start with this? I thought this would be a good segment, but now I'm trying to think of a movie that deserved a sequel, and I can't think of anything.
Okay, so do you think that sequels are generally better or worse?
It really depends.
Okay.
It depends on if the movie sets itself up for a sequel, or if they say, hey, this movie was really popular, let's make a sequel because we can cash in on the popularity. So I think the quality of the sequel comes from an artistic perspective of do we have more ideas for this franchise where we can do something new and interesting, or are we rehashing the same old thing just for money's sake?
So, on that note,
yes,
has anything crossed your mind yet?
Okay, so this is not a big... This is an animated movie, actually.
That's fine. No problem with that.
One of my favorite Disney movies is Treasure Planet.
Yes. Yes, I love that movie.
So, real quick story. So, this kid named Jim, he finds this map to this fabled treasure, pirate's treasure. He gets a crew, and they go to find the treasure, and
it's basically
things happen.
Yeah, it's basically Treasure Island in space.
Yeah, so I really like that.
It was a great movie. I loved it.
And
very underrated.
Yeah, definitely underrated. So I love that movie, and I would love to see a sequel. I don't know what it would be about. I wouldn't want it to just him say, "Oh, I found another treasure map." I wouldn't want it to be National Treasure and then National Treasure 2. That's definitely a movie that didn't deserve a sequel. I love this. I love National Treasure 2, but I didn't need it.
Yeah. So it was just there for entertainment.
Yeah. So if there were to be if there were to be a Treasure Planet 2, I would want it to be about the same characters, but maybe someone's trying to steal their treasure or something like that, you know? So,
or him reuniting with, what's his name? Silver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to spoil it, but yeah.
We spoil things all the time on this show.
I guess. But I want people to actually go watch it.
Yeah. You should definitely watch the movie, though. It's an amazing piece. Artistic-wise, storyline-wise. Has a lot of heart to it.
Yep.
Let's see, for me, what movie would I want? See, my first thought was District 9, but we already talked about District 9 a couple episodes ago, so I'm like, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I could definitely see a sequel or prequel to that movie. For
District 9, yeah, definitely. I would love to see that. What could I think about?
See, the problem is that a lot of my favorite movies are self-contained stories. Like Fight Club, you couldn't have a sequel to Fight Club, or at least not have a sequel that made sense and was actually like a really good story.
Yeah.
Now, I was in the comic book store a few months ago, and there was a comic book called Fight Club 2.
Oh my god.
I didn't buy it, but I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I guess you can make a story about it. I don't know if it was any good, but yeah. And then
actually, I do have one. Okay. I don't know if you would call it a sequel because it already had a sequel, but I guess can you do that like another sequel to a sequel?
Yeah, sure.
I would want to see a Hellboy 3.
Oh yeah.
Because I actually really like the Hellboy movies.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
not my favorites.
They're not fantastic, but they're really great. The story, I mean, it's a good story.
Ron Perlman owns that character.
He does a great job as Hellboy. And what I love about it is, like, he actually went through all the prosthetics. So everything that you see him is actually, it's actual stuff that he's wearing. And plus, it's Guillermo, del Toro. So he's, like, one of my favorite directors. So he does a really good job of bringing fantasy elements to life.
Yeah.
Both CGI and set-wise. He does a lot of, actual sets. And he asks his crew to make a lot of the things.
Yeah.
So I always love Hellboy for artistic purposes. It's a great visual movie. The story is good too. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's anything fantastic, but it's a really good story. And I really enjoy his comics too. I think the comics are better than the movie, but the movie does a good job of being good entertaining-wise and character development-wise. And there were plans for Hellboy 3, but it never launched for some reason. And I know a couple of times Ron Perlman has asked, like, fans to petition, hey, let's get a Hellboy 3.
Yeah.
We've yet to see that happen. I know he's on board with it. I'm pretty sure Guillermo del Toro, he would want to do one. It just never came about. But definitely Hellboy 3.
Okay. Well, I don't know why, but that made me think of Pacific Rim. And
same director.
Oh, yeah. That's probably what it was. And I know that's in the works, supposedly, but it's been kind of quiet.
Yeah.
And so I really want them to make a Pacific Rim 2, because they totally set themselves up for a sequel.
I believe that, yeah.
But
I mean, it takes time to cancel the apocalypse. Come on.
Anyway.
Let's see. What else can I think about?
Okay, so I figured out the other movie that I was going to say is John Carter.
John Carter?
John Carter. Did you see this movie?
Was that the really weird sci-fi one?
The Disney sci-fi one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, no.
Okay.
I was very confused by the previews as well.
Okay, so to put a real quick summary for John Carter was in the Civil War, and
the actual Civil War. American Civil War.
Yes, the American Civil War. And he abandoned his, like, platoon or unit or whatever, and so Heisenberg goes to track him down. What's his name?
The actual actor?
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston?
Yeah, Bryan Cranston.
He's in the movie?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Bryan Cranston goes to track him down, and so John Carter finds this amulet or thing, and he gets transported to Mars. And then there's this guy trying to take over, and so John Carter helps the Martian people fight back, and then he falls in love, but then he gets transported back to Earth, but then he figures out how to get back to Mars anyway. So this movie had an enormous budget. Like, I don't know how much it was, but it was huge, and the movie was a total flop. Like,
I heard about it.
Yeah, the Brandon was just telling me Brandon was just telling me it had a weird marketing campaign. Like, people didn't get it, and it just people didn't go see it, and so it didn't do well financially. But I saw this movie not in theaters, but I watched it later on. I really liked it. Like, it had problems, like, it wasn't great, but I really liked it, and I would really love to see a sequel to this movie because I thought that a lot of the effects were really good. I thought the story was pretty good, the acting was pretty good. It was an all-around solid movie, and I just think it's a shame that because it didn't do well financially that
it's not going to get another chance.
Yeah.
I'll have to check out this movie one of these days. Because I was in that mindset.
You'll put it on your list?
I'll put it on my list. But because when I saw it, I thought this is total gibberish. I just see this guy in space wielding a sword. What is going on?
Yeah. No, it's a pretty confusing story, but it's actually based on these series of novels from these really old series of novels.
Yeah, and I found out, it was based off of a book. Like, all movies are nowadays.
Yeah.
TV shows.
It was actually one of George Lucas's inspiration for Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
I might check it out now then. So I finally thought of another one. Godzilla.
Oh.
The most recent one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be...
I'm sure, yeah, but like...
But you mean American-made one?
Yeah, because the director, he said that the way he made the movie, he didn't make it with the intention of a sequel.
Uh-huh.
He said that if there was no other sequel, I would totally be fine with that because the story was one and done.
Sure.
But I really liked the way that Godzilla was.
Uh-huh.
The most recent one.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, Godzilla didn't have that much screen time, whenever he was on screen, he got the attention he deserved.
Yeah.
So I would like to see another one. And, you could bring in more monsters because they did a tremendous job with the monsters in that movie.
So Godzilla versus Pacific Rim confirmed.
I won't say about versus. I feel like he would, like, team up unintentionally.
Nah.
Did you ever see, like, the rumors about the movie? Like, all Godzilla did was save the humans.
No.
I think, he did. Unintentionally, he would save, like, a couple of humans.
Okay.
Like, on the bridge, that scene when the missiles were coming, he was, like, rising out of the water, and he, like, actually blocks the missiles from hitting school buses.
Okay.
And because of that, everybody thought, like, oh my god, Godzilla wants to help the humans. And I feel like he would just, like, unintentionally help, the Jaegers fight. But, I don't know, I could see him, I could see him fighting down some kaiju. But yes, please, Godzilla sequel, come up with that.
Yep.
Any other ones?
I would see that. Nothing comes to mind.
I do have another one.
Oh, hit me.
Zombieland.
Okay.
It's not like a necessary sequel.
Yeah.
But it'd be a fun sequel to see.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah. Like he runs out of Twinkies and he needs more Twinkies.
Sure. Why not?
And Jesse Eisenberg becomes more like Luthor-like in the movie. Also, one movie I did just to troll Alex was Aragon. We never know. We never know what happens. They set himself up for a sequel. I mean, the end shot was the other dragon. What happens to him?
Oh, I thought of another one.
Okay.
A new Jumanji or Zathura movie.
Oh, I think they're actually making a Jumanji movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a sequel or a remake?
I'm not sure about that.
I hope they don't remake it because I mean that's like a Robin Williams classic.
That is
I
true,
feel like
yeah.
if they did it, like
The Rock,
like that would be-
The Rock is associated with the movie.
Oh, God.
Because he mentioned something. I mean, The Rock is associated with everything nowadays.
that's true. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. Maybe report back next week. But yeah, Jumanji was a huge part of my childhood.
I actually didn't see it till I was like a teenager.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love that movie. It's so good. And then Zathura, if you don't know what that is.
I do know Zathura,
Well,
actually.
I was talking to the people.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine.
Okay, so if you know what Jumanji is, then Zathura is basically a space-themed version of that game. Basically, you play the game and things happen, but it's outer space-themed, not jungle-themed. So Jumanji and Zathura were both originally books written by the same author. And as far as I know, he didn't write another book based on, with that movie, with that premise. But they could either make a sequel to Jumanji, so just have the game and then new characters, or they can make a whole new game with a new theme. So like, I don't know, dragons or zombies or something that's really popular right now. So like a Game of Thrones themed Jumanji game.
You know the main cast is going to die by the end of the movie, right? The first person to die, head chopped off.
Oh my gosh. He was not the first person to die in that show, but you wouldn't know that because you haven't watched it. Yeah. Okay, do you have any more?
Any more?
What about Shrek 5?
Shrek 5. I really don't care at this point. I saw all the way up to like Shrek 3.
I saw Shrek 4.
How was that?
It was terrible.
What do you want a national? Oh no, they are making National Treasure 3. I was gonna say, do you want another one?
Oh, I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because like a lot of the movies I know now that I want sequels they're getting sequels. So
The new Friday the 13th movie.
I've never
The new Nightmare on Elm Street.
Never seen those.
Okay. I love the Friday the 13th movies. Like,
Mhm.
they're so cheesy. It's so bad, but
You have to love it.
okay, the first one's a classic. Like, it sets up a lot of the tropes of the horror genre, and just like it's a classic for a lot of reasons. And then the second one is good because it actually introduces the character of Jason.
Mhm.
Everything after that is just a cash grab, and they're not great, but I love all of the movies that I've seen. Friday the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, they're fine. I mean, they are what they are, and Freddy is a pretty terrifying character. But after the first one, I don't think they really needed to keep going with
Pretty
it.
much,
But
yeah.
if they came out with new movies, I would definitely watch those.
I think any horror film, they always have to like be careful with
Yeah.
sequels because it always just. I mean, look at Paranormal Activity. At first, it was a really like good experimental thing, and then it just kept going and going and going, and it keeps thinking that it's relevant, even though it's not anymore.
Are they still making them?
I don't know about now.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was a long time where they came out with a new one every year, but
Is Final Destination still a thing?
I don't
did it
think so.
stop?
I think it's over.
Yeah.
And I know Saw, they finally finished
Yes,
that.
yeah.
I saw every Saw movie, not in theaters. So I watched all of them. I don't recommend that. I watched every Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. That was even worse. Those are so bad. Like, there are no redeeming qualities to those movies.
Sequels really need to be careful about how to do
Yeah.
it. Like, there are only very few, not a few sequels, but it's hard to think of better sequels that outshine the original movie than it is to think of like sequels that did worse.
Yeah.
So like one of the few ones that come to mind are like, Godfather 2,
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, well, I like... Okay, I'll definitely agree with you on Star Wars. I like The Godfather better
Yeah.
than Godfather 2. Personally.
I think so too. I just think because the main consensus is not that they think it's better, but it's actually it's up there. It did a good job of like maintaining its quality.
I mean, De Niro's parts of Godfather 2 are sublime.
Yeah.
So good.
That's definitely like
I would have rather had a whole movie of just him
if it's past.
Yeah. But I think we're getting off topic.
Yeah. So sorry about that.
We're not trying to get too film snobby on you.
Sorry. Yeah. Promise. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to think of some stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all we have for now. I mean, we can always come back to this segment in the future. If you have any ideas, you can, definitely suggest them to us. On that note, let me check if we got any emails. We hadn't when we started recording, but maybe that changed. Nope, we didn't get any emails this week. I am very disappointed in all of you. I thought we had gotten past this, but I'm sad.
The shame.
Yes, shame on all of you. So if you want to send us an email, that is, of course, abcpodcast92@gmail.com. You can tell us what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show, whether I should get sick more often so that my voice sounds deep and raspy so that you can't distinguish between when I'm talking and when Brandon starts talking.
Okay, my voice is deep. It's not raspy. Shut up.
You can give us questions, comments, concerns, topic suggestions. Tell us what we got right, what we got wrong. If you agree, disagree, whatever. You get the idea. You can send us pretty much anything, and we'll read it on the show. But in lieu of emails, we'll go ahead and wrap up real quick with, you guessed it, Kevin's segment, Fan Fic Fights. So this week...
What have you got?
Okay. This is going to be a fun one.
All right.
I hope. So this week we've got Toru from Jackie Chan Adventures versus Snorlax.
Oh, okay. This seems kind of unfair, though.
Why?
I don't know. Let's get started.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. 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 Oh! Okay, I choose Snorlax.
Of course.
Do you want to go first? Because I went first last time.
Fine. Okay, so Toru, if you didn't know, Toru is, how tall would you say? He's probably like 7 feet tall at least.
Yeah, because I think Captain Black is like 6 foot something.
Okay.
So definitely 7
Yeah,
feet.
so Toru's a giant dude. He was a sumo wrestler.
But believe it or not, when they went to Japan,
Are you sure you don't want to pick Toru?
But I'm serious. Like he had to. No, he did not when they went to Japan, but he had to like compete in a sumo wrestling challenge.
Yeah.
He's actually smaller than the average sumo wrestler.
But he still won.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's giant. He's a very large man. He is super strong. And he used to be a bad guy, but now he's on the J what do they call him? The J team?
Yeah.
Yeah, the J team.
The J team.
And so he learned magic from Uncle. So he's got that going for him. He also has access to all of the talismans. So he has super powerful magical artifacts to back him up. So super speed and invisibility and healing and immortality. So he's got a lot of magic on his side. I think that's it.
Well, that was a very compelling argument.
I'll try.
Yeah. So what can I do with Snorlax? Because this one's a little bit harder.
You picked it.
I know, but Snorlax, he's a giant Pokemon who sleeps all the time. He's essentially my spirit animal. But his size gives him a lot of advantage because he's also very, very resistant to damage. I know many times like Pokemon and people have tried to attack him and it does like absolutely nothing to him because he just like bounces off. And Pokemon have powers, so I assume that would just fall into the same category as Toru's magic. He just tries to like shoot him with some magic or with a talisman, nothing. I would assume even with like the Ox talisman, he would have many troubles, trying to do anything with Snorlax. Let's see, what else could we do with him? When he wakes up, he is incredibly strong, and he has a pretty good amount of abilities to help him out with that. He can punch really hard. He can hit it really hard. I'm pretty sure he has Hyper Beam, doesn't he? Yes. So I'm pretty sure that's like the equivalent of a tank shooting, a shell at somebody. What else can I say? I don't know if in the show have they ever beaten the Snorlax. Have they really?
Yeah, Ash caught a Snorlax in the Orange Islands. And so he used him through the Battle Frontier saga, and there were definitely a few times where Ash's Snorlax lost.
Well, few times. I can recall multiple times when Toru has lost to Jackie, who is like almost 2 feet smaller than him. But look at that. So Snorlax is definitely the definitive winner in this. And if that doesn't work out for fighting, they probably would just like hang out and sleep and eat. So if you don't call it a draw, fine. But I still think Snorlax would win.
Well, Toru would feel differently because he is very strong and very sensitive.
Tell me more. He is actually a little bit sensitive, that's true.
But your entire argument predicates on the idea that Snorlax would wake up and fight, which who knows if he would. Maybe Toru has a sleeping potion and just throws that Snorlax to go to sleep.
Even sleeping Snorlax will win.
Only if he has to move Sleep Talk. So if you're prepared for that strategy, then that's one way to go.
Trust me, sleeping overcomes all.
Maybe. Well, I think that's it for our Fan Fic Fight segment. That was it was kind of laid back, but yeah whatever. I've been talking for a long time. I think I'm probably going to not be able to talk after we get done here. Anyway, real quick reminder, we're going to be talking about Monty Python and the Holy Grail next week, so make sure you watch it. Have you watched it yet?
I have not started yet.
Okay, it's okay. I haven't watched it either.
That's my homework for this week.
Okay, so definitely make sure to watch it. Email us your thoughts, whatever they may be, whether you liked it or not. Anything you have to say about Monty Python and the Holy Grail, let us know. Again, the email address is abcpodcast92@gmail.com. So that's it for this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back next week for episode 13. Spooky. And hopefully my voice is recovered.
There's nothing wrong with having a deep voice.
That's true.
I know, right?
Okay. Well, then, hopefully my voice hasn't recovered. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you all next week.
Bye.